And welcome to another great episode of Framing New Heights. My name is Michael Hicks. I'm your host with the most. And today I've got a great topic that I want to talk to you about today. In fact, it has a lot to do with when survival becomes our comfort zone. And this is exactly why I've been offering my $99 90-day program with guaranteed results. It involves health, it involves fitness, it involves mindset, it involves career, it involves all of these beautiful things that you have been struggling with. And today's podcast is going to be a little bit about that. So if you're checking me on the live, drop your comments in there, hashtag live. And hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. So before we start the podcast today, words from our sponsor. Can't sleep? Got the aches and pains? Well, you got to check out this CBD oil. It's Amos tested, proven formula. And you can get 50% off at checkout if you are a Framing New Heights listener. For those of you that are checking it out on the TikTok Live, all you got to do is go to superfungummies.com. Click on that CBD oil. I guarantee you're going to have better sleep. In fact, I just take 9 drops, put it underneath my tongue, and I get a good 8 to 9 hours of sleep. For me, that's what I need for my body. And at checkout, you can get 50% off just by using the promo code New Heights. That's all cap lights. And that website, again, is envitamins.com. Well, I tell you, I've been working on my Live to Thrive life coaching, mindset coaching, and relationship specialist business for an extensive amount of years. And it has grown exponentially, and I'm super excited to chat with you about it because this is actually an ad for my life coaching. So right now, I've got this wonderful promo going on, and you will, in fact, now that I'm recording and thinking about this, you're not going to be able to take advantage of it. However, I do have some free pieces, some freebies, that if you want some freebies, just email me, freebie, I got you. But this is definitely for my live sessions right now. So I have, if you have been really just struggling in relationships, maybe you've gone through the process and you just feel like there's just something missing. I've got the proven formula, Live to Thrive coaching, which develops mindset, develops relationships, a better career, and most importantly, it works on your body. So I call it the Mind, Body, and Soul program. However, I have got clients and testimonials that I think that would be really beneficial for you to check it out before you want to jump in and work with me. If you want more information on this, you can just go to www.livetothrive.com. That's www.livetothrive.com. You can also check out, I've got a freebie option on there as well to really kind of give yourself a self-audit, self-check, right? Kind of see what's been going well, what's not. Kind of give you an opportunity to really see how you're growing. You know, I work with so many clients, and it's infectious when they start to see the growth. And when you stay in a pattern of inconsistency and no change and lying to yourself since the existence of those New Year's resolutions, which has been about a half of a year already right now, how are those New Year's resolutions going? Hashtag New Year's resolutions in the comments. How are they going? Are you lying to yourself? Well, I got this episode today I think is really going to be the foundation for really kind of developing a pattern for you that can really get you back on track. And I know everybody wants free advice, freebies, but I tell you the best coaches have coaches, mentors, life coaches, therapists, trainers, all of these things. So, you know, today's topic is really about the silent epidemic, right? That I've been coming across in getting on these journey calls, in the coaching groups, in marriages, in relationships, in leadership teams, and even behind sometimes, I'm going to be honest, the pulpit. Like it even happens in the church. And hey, we all make mistakes. We all are imperfectly perfect. And I love to reference that because it's really what we are. We solely just struggle with something that I termed in today's podcast is when survival becomes the comfort zone. And when that happens, we truly start to get in these routines that are meaningless. They provide no value for yourself, for your relationships, for your career, for your mindset. And this silent epidemic, like I've seen it in even on my journey calls. And what's so crazy to me is people aren't living anymore. They're just surviving. And that's the worst part about life. Because honestly, I said this yesterday on my live, is I said, you have the opportunity at the end of life when you see your creator, do you want the woulda, coulda, shoulda highlight reel? Or do you want your reel that you lived out fully? And are you in that survival of life and it's now be developed to be a comfort zone? Here's to all my summer highlighters that like to drink iced tea, because this is what this is. And no, I'm not from down south. I live in Wisconsin now. So as I transition here on Framing New Heights today, I'm really going to unpack on why that survival mode that lives in your comfort zone really happens and what it truly takes to move from numb to fully alive. Are you ready? Well, let's dive in. If you want to grab a pen and pencil, paper, whatever it might be, go for it, because I got some gold nuggets. Or pause and make some notes in your iPhone, whatever you have, whatever you're using. I've seen this played out not just with my clients, and I'm going to be fully transparent because that's why I think my clients like me so much, is it's also helping with myself. There was a season where I thought productivity meant purpose. I'm going to say that again. I truly thought, because I would grind and grind. Everybody's like, grind. Why are you grinding? Because I thought no one's going to outwork me. Productivity meant that I have a purpose in life. And what did that lead to? It led to exhaustion without success. And I was functioning, but here's the key term here. I wasn't really free. I wasn't free. And maybe you've been there too. You look strong on the outside, you're showing up consistently, yet something inside, you're barely holding on. And you kind of want to just scream, right? How many of you are like, yeah, that's me, Michael, you're talking to me right now? Well, I've been there, and that's why I've been doing my life coaching now for an extensive amount of time. And I'm telling you, it's okay to feel that way. However, here's the key piece. If you're not doing anything to change that pattern, what will happen is I turned this thing called the illusion of control and chaos. That's what will happen. And do you want to live a life in chaos? And I know we got a lot of people that are control freaks, and that's a whole new different podcast. However, I want to just talk about this. People often cling to dysfunction. You know why? Because it's predictable. It's like choosing your own demon, your own devil. You know that if I stay here, I know that I know this devil. I know this demon that's been with me, so to speak. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Because chaos, hold on, let me get my drink of my protein shake here. Chaos gives false sense of control. Okay? And what it does, chaos, is, well, if I keep juggling everything, nothing drops. How many is there? You're like, put that in the comments right now if you're catching me on the live. Say, that's me, Michael. That is me. I'm juggling everything and hoping nothing drops. Traumas and patterns are passed down, become familiar, and even safe. Isn't that insane, right? So I want to tie my Live to Thrive coaching framework into this piece here. So at Live to Thrive, what I tend to do is I teach that clarity starts when chaos ends. How many of you are living a chaos life? that you are like, I have to do this, I have to do that, I got to do this, I got to take the kids to the game, I got to coach them, I got to do this, I got to then work out, I got to make lunch. I get it. I get it. I understand. Because I live that too. And what I really hone in on is teaching the clarity piece. Clarity begins when chaos ends. It's that simple. Excuse me. It's that simple. And control is a mask that often hides deep-rooted fears. You get what I'm saying? That's crazy. Reflect on the things you trust. And the things that you need to have more control on, it's deep-rooted fear. And I want you to ask yourself, am I, insert yourself, however you want to label this, ask yourself, am I addicted to the chaos I say I hate? Whatever insert chaos is. And then I have a caveat to that. And what would I actually do if peace walked in the door? What would I do? How would I handle it? Would I be excited? Something to really think about, right? I know, I'm catching you all and you're like, man, the hamster wheel is really moving, Michael. Thanks. No problem. I got you. Here's to all my iced tea drinkers out there. I want to transition into this piece here. And I titled this Signs You're Surviving Instead of Living. All right? And I hope this really hits with you because I'm going to provide you with some examples. Do you wake up tired? Even after you slept like a good amount of sleep? I recently talked about this on a podcast, and I'm going to be on 2 podcasts coming up from somebody else. And I was living a life where I was just exhausted, and I didn't know why. But scientifically, I needed to get a sleep study, which I did, and I found out that I stopped breathing in my sleep like 15 times an hour, which was considered average for Americans. And then my sleep doctor says to me, he's like, Michael, you want to be average, like be like the average people and have an average percentage of a heart attack. And I was thinking to myself, I don't consider myself average. You know, I work hard on my mindset. I hire a coach. I'm involved with spiritual hunger and provide myself with that. And most importantly, well, not most importantly, but another subcategory to that is I work out. I take care of my heart. In fact, I think I talked about this on a reel. I went into a doctor's office and my resting heart rate was 36 beats per minute at 52 years old of age. I don't like to say old, 52 years of age. Let's get it right after the third attempt, Michael. And the nurse was shocked. He's like, "Are you okay?" Yeah, I'm blessed and highly favored, like I always say, or magnificent. It's one of those. I've never seen a low heart rate like that. That was a whole new... I kind of went off tangent here. But I want to get back on track here. My point to all of that is, do you wake up tired? And I did for many years until I got a sleep study done and I found out that I had sleep apnea. And fast forward, I have a sleep machine that I sleep with. Yeah, I'm like Maverick in Top Gun now, okay? I don't care. I can talk about it. That's just who I am. And, you know, here's the other example on what I want to go back to, because I got a little bit off track here, is I was giving you examples of signs you're still surviving and not living, okay? So if these really resonate with you, you should maybe talk to someone. If it's not even me, just talk to a coach of some sort. You know, there's therapy out there. Therapy really uncovers the past. What I do as a life coach, I build you up from where you are now today. And sometimes you need both, just being fully transparent. But do you wake up tired, even after you sleep a lot? Or do you avoid silence because it exposes what you feel? I just cannot be in silent. I got to be moving all the time, right? You got to stay busy. So you never have time to be honest with yourself. Never. Your joy is manufactured and it's not felt. And those are some thoughts on why you're not living your full potential. It's almost like I titled this as like survival as a language. And you say things like, "Oh, I'm fine." You know what the hidden reason when most and here, correct me if I'm wrong, women, ladies that you are out there listening, ladies, when you say I'm fine, that doesn't mean what those words mean. That means I got a whole lot of stuff that I'm dealing with right now. Or you maybe say, I just need to get through this week. Is that you? Have you said that? It's you. You are surviving. You're not fully thriving. Or maybe you say something like, one day I'll deal with it, or one day I'll get to it. Right? I don't know. Will you? Is tomorrow guaranteed? But I want to tell you something here. Look, I want to transition into the opposite perspective here. Thriving has an entirely different voice. And what thriving says is that I deserve more than this cycle. I deserve more. What is that more? Well, I'll tell you how you can find that more. I use a lot of journal writing for my clients, and I do a lot of scripting for myself. I want you to write this down. If you're not getting anything off of this podcast today, this is the one thing that you truly can get that will really kind of get you thriving instead of surviving. So and here's the question, what does thriving look like to me? Not to anyone else. I'll repeat that because sometimes I go fast. What does thriving look to me? Not to anyone else. So really painting a picture of what thriving looks to you. Maybe you got to go look it up. For me, thriving is being optimal with your mindset, with your body, and with understanding what your purpose in life is. That's optimally thriving. As I go on here, I want to just see if I have any questions in my let's see here. No, I don't have any questions over there. All right, good. All right, as I continue here, I want you to think about this for a second. The cost of staying safe versus becoming free. Do you have the Sunday blues? Are you resenting life and hating life? Checking your email, hating it on a Sunday, having to stay in because you can't spend time with your family because you got to do work stuff? Are you staying safe or are you becoming free? I want to break this down a little bit for you. There's a familiar pain that resonates, and here's what that pain does. Familiar pain feels safer than unfamiliar healing. Like you want to stay in this comfort bubble because you know what it is, right? You don't know what it is on the outside. So the familiar pain feels safer than unfamiliar healing, right? And then here's the next part. Change requires you, your body, your existence to go through grief. You're going to go through grieving. You're going to have identity issues. You're going to deal with comfort issues. And you're going to also struggle with some ego things that are really going to affect you. And what's going to happen is when you're going through those are all good signs. Yeah, you're crying yourself to sleep. Still, change requires you to go through some of those uncomfortable places. And here's the other thing. Staying stuck, it costs us time. The most important thing in life is time. It's not money. Money cannot buy you time. Money cannot buy you existence. And staying stuck costs you not only time, but it costs you peace. It also causes intimacy issues when you're staying stuck with your significant other or in your relationship. And you also struggle with identifying what your purpose is, your walk of life. Right? So, what's the emotional price tag that you want to put on your current comfort zone? What is it? Are you doing a self-audit? And how often are you doing that self-audit? Do you have a partner that builds you up through tough times and supports you through tough times? Or are you both simply lost? It's the self-audit that creates awareness. Awareness is key to get out of that comfort zone, y'all. And it's not just about you tolerating these things. It's about you have accepted to live this life. I've heard comments by individuals, not going to give a gender here, by individuals that have said, "Oh, I'm in my 30s. It's all downhill from here." Man, is that a limiting mindset? And it's sad. It's about what you're forfeiting. What are you forfeiting right now? You don't know. You know why you don't know? Because you're still stuck in that comfort zone. You know, you can transition from numb to alive. You can. However, in order to do that, I'm going to give you some of my Live to Thrive coaching blueprint material right here, right now, absolutely free. Ask yourself, and when you do this self-audit, which I alluded to a little earlier, where are you functioning instead of feeling? I'll say that again. Where are you functioning instead of feeling? Does that make sense? Because I want you to really take time to audit and name the numbness. What numbness do you have? What have you become accustomed to? What are you avoiding emotionally? Is there something in your relationship that you are avoiding emotionally? Is there something in your career that you're dealing with that you are avoiding emotionally? Is there something as a father that you are dealing with that you are avoiding emotionally? What are you going to do about that? Because the true work comes from self-audits, y'all. Are you auditing who you are? Weekly, monthly, bi-monthly? Are you just doing New Year's resolutions that you often lie to yourself? Like 78% of people fail on New Year's resolutions. So they have no plan. They have no blueprint. Name your numbness. What are you avoiding emotionally? And then when you do that, I want you to anchor an identity to it. Here's the key question I want you to ask is, who are you without the struggle? You ever think about that? You ever think about stepping outside of that comfort zone and then really honing in on who you would be without the struggle? Maybe you should spend some time visualizing that. Mental preparation, developing a vision board. Vision boards work when they're used correctly. Are you manifesting who you would be without the struggle? Are you being prayerful? Lord, get me through this struggle. Help me understand who I can still become. Those are so important and vital to get out of the survival mode. And I've talked about this on numerous episodes on my podcast, and even when I've gone on other podcasts and even speaking engagements. You have to build almost a rhythm of sorts. So, like, what's your morning routine like? I'll kind of go over that for me. When I wake up, God blesses me another day. First of all, you should always say thank you. And spend some time in gratitude thanking your Creator for giving you another day. You know, I'm at the age now where I am so excited to wake up in the morning. And just beyond excited. So when you build a rhythm, and my morning rhythm starts with gratitude, thanking God. And then I also develop and put in my I am statements. I spend some time journaling. I get some water in me right away. usually 8 to 12 ounces. Some people say 16 ounces, and I slam it right away because your body has not any water and your organs need water. That's important. And then maybe some movement. Movement can be a variation for many of us. It could be stretching, it could be working out, it could be spinning, it could be jogging, it could be movement. Just move your body. And then coming back to really reflecting as a whole of like what's going to go well for me today, and visualize what's going to go well. And if it doesn't, you got to have the tools to overcome those bad moments. I hear too often, I had a bad day. We don't have bad days, y'all. We have bad moments. And you don't know how to untangle those bad moments, which leads to bad days. Do you have spiritual alignment, which is under my umbrella of purpose? Do you invite your creator, God, into your healing process? Have you? How many are you saying right now, like, yeah, he doesn't listen to me, though? Oh, he listens. He's just not on your time schedule. There's a quote that I want you to think about for a second. Freedom doesn't feel like fireworks at first. It takes time. It takes work. You know what it does feel like, though? It often feels like grief. So say that quote again. Freedom doesn't feel like fireworks at first. It often feels like grief. So because the old you is no longer there, it's no longer existing. In fact, you can even term it dying. And the healed you is now fully awakening. I've got a client of mine that I talk to often about this whole process, the old you versus the new you, and who she is becoming. And it's just a beautiful thing. And are we going to make some falls along the way? We're going to. But the biggest thing that I'm getting close to ending this podcast today, this episode, is remember this and write this down. Maybe you need to get a dry erase marker, and you need to write this on your mirror where you see it every day. You weren't built to survive. You were not. You were designed to live. You were designed to love. And you were designed to lead from a place of epic wholeness. That's what you were meant to be. So I hope this really resonated with you today. And for those of you that are on my TikTok live, just go to Framing New Heights. You can check out my YouTube page there. Or you can even go to Spotify or whatever app you use to listen to any of your podcasts. Framing New Heights. Go be a listener. I think you'll like it. I've got almost 200 episodes in my library that could really benefit you and require or help you become the best version of yourself. So, and again, if this really truly resonated with any of you today, just TikTok, DM me the word alive, or if you go on my Instagram or Facebook, just DM me alive, and you'll have all that information in the bio. And then what I'll do is I will send an absolutely free audit guide to start this process for you. And I think it's a great way to kind of gain some traction and some discipline, which then later on leads to momentum. Momentum leads to discipline. Discipline leads to success. So if you're ready to do this kind of work in real time, I'm talking not waiting for tomorrow, like right now, go and check out, for those of this is because this is going to be aired later, I have the Reboot Mind, Body, and Soul program that starts July 7th-ish. So if you're catching this and you catch it late, if there's a couple spots open, $99 for 90 days. Incredible, great investment. It's basically $1 a day to gain more value in your life that will fully reset your old you. I hope that makes sense. And here we go. It's time to go. Thank you all for chiming in and tuning in and listening. If you're catching me on the live, wherever you're at, and in your car, running, you're doing the laundry, whatever you're doing. My name is Michael Hicks, and I am the host of Framing New Heights, and always 1% better in mind, body, and soul, and always stay flex. And one more quick thing, where we don't just talk about transformation on this podcast, we live it. Take care.